Welcome to this episode of the Whitetail Watch, brought to you by Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. I've got the interns with me. We're going to show you behind us one of the spots where we planted acorns over the last 2 days. We didn't get a lot of hunting in early this week, and we'll talk about how the weekend went, but we were spending time working on habitat on the farm, so that limited our hunting time. I did get out last night, shot a doe. Didn't see any bucks, and I guess I was a little bit disappointed in that because it was a beautiful evening. And I know Ethan hunted yesterday evening and didn't see too much, right? Carson, you filmed him, right?
Just a nubbin buck.
Yes, small buck. And then you saw something in the distance though, right?
Yeah, we did see his target buck probably 200-300 yards away feeding in that cornfield.
Okay, so I mean we're seeing the uptick in movement now. We're seeing, more, well, I mean, you go to social media and you look at the text that you get from your buddies, and there's some really nice bucks being killed right now. But the weekend was the best from what I saw on my trail cameras. I pulled them all this morning, went through all the cards, and for sure the most daylight activity of, say, 3.5-year-old and older bucks was Saturday and Sunday. And it was, nothing before that, and then it's dropped off a little bit since, but it's still some activity. There's still some bucks showing up on camera during daylight. So the real question is, what do we do now? What do we do with this weather that's coming in and the buck movement at the end of this week and then going into the weekend? And we'll talk about that next. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail, Fuse Accessories, Elevate Tree Stands, B3 Releases and Broadheads, and Hoyt. So there's two things I want to talk about next. I want to talk about the forecast. Well, three things. The forecast, what the behavior changes are with the deer during this stage of the season, and then hunting strategy based on those two things. The forecast is a little bit of a problem. If it comes through as predicted, we're going to have quite a bit of rain coming in. So it looks like this weekend is going to be fairly rainy. If you can get out between the showers, I think it's going to offer some good hunting, or you got to be in a blind. That's my plan. If I'm going to hunt it, especially with all this camera gear, we're going to be in a blind. But I do think this is a good weekend and it's worth hunting for a couple of reasons. First, it's going to be cool temperatures. But there's another behavior that I've been watching since I was a kid. There's this flurry of rut-related activity that takes place in the middle of October. It's just a few days. And I've talked to biologists since then, and there are some does that come into estrus a month early. So there's going to be does popping into estrus just a short little period in the middle of October. And it happens every year. And you get this real flurry of buck sign all over the place, and then it dies back down again. It's almost like we're in full-blown rut and then it dies. And when I was a kid, I used to wait until the middle of October before I did any scouting because I wanted to see that rut preview. I wanted to see all that sign. The rub lines are showing up, the scrape lines are showing up, sort of like giving you like a picture of what it's going to look like 2 weeks later at the end of October. So this does create that opportunity just for a couple of days. Well, it happens to align with this weekend. So I think if it wasn't raining and it was cool, I think this would be a really, really good weekend. In fact, I don't think I'd take vacation time yet, but I do think I might hunt mornings a little bit for the first time just this weekend and take advantage of those first few estrus does popping. But then don't think that that's the way it's going to stay, because it's not. It's going to scale back again. You'll see it'll be like this flurry of activity, then boom, drops right back down again. But it does align with this weekend. I would definitely hunt it, if you can get by on the weather, or if you've got a blind you can get into, something to get you out of the rain. I wish it wasn't going to be rainy because everything else is looking good for some prime activity. There have been lots of big deer killed. This isn't November though, so don't get like too amped up thinking, oh man, some so-and-so, you know, on a couple miles down the road or in the next county killed a giant. Well, you're gonna have that, but don't get like too anxious yet. This isn't it. You know, this is still, it's still gonna keep getting better. But you don't wanna miss these opportunities because you don't know what November's gonna bring. Maybe it'll be 75 degrees every day. So you gotta hunt this. You just gotta be careful on how aggressively you go after it. But I do think this weekend creates an opportunity. I do think you can hunt some of your better spots and mornings if the weather cooperates. We're going to be hunting. We're not going to be throwing acorns anymore for hopefully a long time, because that's a lot of work. And get back to the tree stands and the blinds. Well, I appreciate you joining me here at the Whitetail Watch at Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. We'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode. And remember to always dream big.